Hello, everybody. Happy, what is it today? Tuesday. I hope everyone's having a good Tuesday. Thank you for being here with me. I figured because of all of the things that are coming out on um on X that it was better to do a live going over everything because there's a lot going on with the Charlie Kirk case and all. So I appreciate everyone being live with me today. You guys are amazing. Um, I try to do 2 o'clock because again, I know the evenings are kind of hectic with other creators and stuff. So I felt like 2 o'clock was probably good to start. Um, let's see. So hello. How are you guys? Really interested to know what this relates to. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on X. And I know a lot of you guys don't have X. So this is going to be very interesting because since those pictures came out with Candace, you guys know that I told you that there was like going to be all these reactions. We already knew that. And, you know, it's just slowly starting this like war. So like Neff, instead of really arguing with Candace like he normally does, he's arguing with like ex-employees from Turning Point who don't work there anymore. He's arguing in the comment sections of people like, spreading Candace's video, with the pictures. There is new news out who supposedly gave Candace the pictures. There is information about the car that Charlie was transported in, where that was auctioned, who bought it at auction. We're going to go over. We are going to go over Frank Turek as well. Not that he made a threat, but there's other stuff going on with Frank Turek. Hello. Welcome in. Welcome all the new people, all the old people as well. But thank you for all of the new that have become a part of the channel. I appreciate you guys. All right. So we are just going to jump right into it, and then I will check the chat slowly throughout. And then what I'll do is I'll read all super chats and all that stuff at the end. So if you're asking questions or certain things, we'll go over that at the end. And we're just going to jump right into this because there's a lot. So we're going to start with this. So the first piece of news that I wanted to start with today was Fox News had put out an article that Charlie Kirk's parents are going to be in attendance at the evidentiary hearing with Eric Kirk. Charlie Kirk's parents are going to be at the evidentiary hearing with Eric Kirk. This is what is being put out. Again, this is Fox News putting this out. I'm so curious. Isn't it interesting that Charlie Kirk's parents are going to attend this hearing with her? I'm surprised they're going to attend it all. And I can only imagine what was said to them and how they got them to attend this because we haven't really seen his parents in the public at all. I want to say the only time I've seen them at anything is, I think it was just the Rose Garden, right? For the Medal of Freedom. That's what I remember last. So, let's see. So we're going to jump right into this and then we'll go into more of that. But I wanted to show you guys this. So this is Fox News breaking. Charlie Kirk's parents and his widow, Erica Kirk, are expected to attend the preliminary hearing for the man accused of assassinating him next week in Utah, according to a source familiar with the situation. It will be the first major court hearing Kirk's family is expected to attend since Tyler Robinson's arrest following the September 10, 2025 shooting at Turning Point USA event at UVU. Prosecutors are expected to spend the week presenting evidence and witness testimony in an effort to move the case forward toward trial. But the hearing could still be delayed at Utah Supreme Court. As Utah Supreme's court considers an appeal over courtroom cameras. At this time, Robinson has not yet entered a plea. I feel like by now you should have entered a plea already, but okay. So this is Fox News. They are going over that. These are just like the comment sections. People are talking about certain things. But again, I wanted to start with that. So yes, allegedly, sorry guys, I have to get comfortable for a minute. Allegedly, his parents are attending this hearing with Erica. Again, we don't really see his parents. If you have been following me, I have a couple sources who are actually working at Turning Point, and they told me about the memorial that they don't recall seeing Charlie's parents even at that big memorial that they had. And if they were there, they're like, oh, I didn't know that that was Charlie's parents, but I don't recall anyone saying that they were there or seeing them or so on and so forth. I thought that was really weird. But yeah. How about Charlie's sister? I've heard that Charlie's sister is not a fan of Erica. That's what I've heard. Again, remember, Charlie Kirk grew up on the, Lamont, Illinois area. I am from Chicago myself, from the South Side. So when I go home, I am going to be doing some investigative work when I'm home very soon. So don't worry. I might have some stuff for you guys, actually from being boots on the ground. So, I will be home in August. So we will see what turns up. Really, you are from the South Side? Yes, I am from the South Side. Born and raised in the South Side. Didn't leave until I was like 25. So, yeah. How was that growing up? I love Chicago. I mean, growing up, Chicago was, it's not as bad as it is now. I didn't, there were areas you couldn't go through, you couldn't drive through and like stop at a stop sign. Yeah. But my area of the South Side wasn't bad where I went to school and where I grew up. Wasn't like super fancy, but it wasn't like, dodging bullets type thing. But yeah, so in August, don't worry guys, in August we'll have coverage about me on the ground out there. I'm going to be doing some digging while I'm home into some things that need to be looked into. So don't worry, we'll have some reporting on that. All right. So again, I don't understand this because I did a video about the trademark. And I showed you guys in that video that when you go to the Arizona court website and you look at it, you can see that there's a court case with Erica and I think Charlie's parents over the trademark, but it's sealed and it just shows that there's like a case number. Like that case is sealed. So I don't know what's going on. But the trademark was, I know people, I think Candace said, oh, the trademark, Charlie trademarked his name, that he did not. It was all the trademarks for Charlie Kirk were in Erica's name. I showed you guys that in that video. So let's see. Okay. All right. So we're going to leave that. Now we're going to go to what Allie shared. So Allie was sharing on X. She was sharing the pictures of the SUV, and she said, thank you, Michael Vina, for coming on my live stream. He is the one that gave the photos to Candace. So this is who supposedly gave the photos to Candace of the SUV. And, he also was talking about the plate number, which is over here. And it's Z334AA. So people were talking about, again, you have like the 33 on the plate. That was a big thing. This was done yesterday. This was put out yesterday by Allie Files. Again, she had the man who released the photos to Candace on her podcast, I believe. I did not watch her podcast. I'm just reading what was discussed. So then when people started to look into the license plate, look up, they came across a few different things. And again, this is the SUV that I believe, this is the SUV that transported Charlie to the hospital. Now I got to go back because there's another post I wanted to show you guys about this. Hold on. I put everything aside for us to go over, but there's a lot. So the car that took Charlie to the hospital, they sold it. And someone was saying, we'll take this down for a second and we're going to add this. They were saying for anyone who doubts what was taken out of the car, basically. Hold on. That you're mistaken of how much blood was in there because it's going to show you the car being torn up. But hold on. We're just going to show you this. So this apparently is allegedly what they had to tear out of the car before that, to fix it in order to sell it. We're going to get to sold to who. We're going to get there. I'm going to pull that up while you guys are looking at that. This is going to be who allegedly it was purchased by. So we're going to remove this. Let's put up the information Project Constitution shared about who it was purchased by. That way we can go over that. All right. So this says the SUV that carried Charlie Kirk to the hospital after being totaled by the insurance company was purchased at auction by Jessup Auto Plaza. New information has surfaced showing that the black SUV used to transport Charlie Kirk to Timpanogos Regional Hospital on September 10 was totaled by the insurance company and later sold at auction. According to Carfax records, the vehicle was purchased by Jessup Auto Plaza dealership located in Cathedral City, California. He gives the address, so that's the 68111 East Palm Canyon Drive. If there's anybody who knows anybody that works there that could give us any information, if you work there, if you're in that area and there's anything you know about that, if you can email me at patriotichousewife.com. I have a couple questions. This raises a very serious question. Why was this vehicle preserved, or why was it not preserved as critical evidence in one of the highest profile assassinations in American history, instead of being held by Utah police or the FBI for forensic examination? The SUV was written off, auctioned, and sold to a random dealership across the country. Any potential evidence inside that vehicle, blood patterns, possible explosive residue, bullet fragments, or other forensic material is now likely gone or compromised. This is the same vehicle that many have pointed to as potentially containing key evidence supporting the exploding microphone theory. Yet it was it was allowed to leave the chain of custody and end up on a car lot in California. How does something this important get totaled and sold off instead of properly investigated? I agree. I don't understand how that got sold either. I think it's interesting that would happen. To me, it's evidence, period. So this is Jessup Auto Plaza. This is the actual car dealership. And this is what the car was. Obviously 2025 Yukon. And this was the information. I think once it was listed for sale, they found it on the site. They were able to match things up. And this is all the information on the car. Again, we'll let this run again just so you guys can see it. Be sure to like the live for me, please, you guys, when you get in. It just helps push the video into the algorithm, helps the channel. Again, I see there's memberships being bought in super chats. I'll go over all those at the end. I appreciate all the support of the channel. Again, I also know that a lot of people ask this, so I always usually put this up in my live. If you guys don't like to super chat, there's a lot of people who like to send Venmo or Cash App. So I always just throw this in the ticker in the bottom. There's a link in bio for merch if you want to support the channel that way. If not, just liking the videos, sharing them, sharing the channel helps so much. As a small channel trying to grow, anything helps. And I appreciate you guys. And it helps with, me traveling to investigate more, and especially with apps and certain things to be able to vet things out better. So again, here's the plate. So this is so that's where they picked up the 33 from, and they said, okay, that's kind of interesting that they would have a 33 on the plate. Hold on. And then I was going to read this comment because someone said the vehicle had to have been processed for evidence. You just don't know it yet. And then Project said, no, it wasn't. Otherwise, all those black shards and Bird I think he meant burnt cardboard looking thing would have been collected and tagged as evidence and not left in the vehicle when sent to auction. And this is a good question too. Who owns Jessup Auto Plaza? That was the next thing that I was going to start looking into. It's owned by the, oh, here we go. It's owned by the Jessup family. They've been around forever. They're local. Okay. Hmm. That would be interesting if this is him or if there's any relation and to high up in the military, because that seems to be a thing for this. Uh, what is it? No, total loss. No total loss reported to Carfax. Let's see what this says. This car was not totaled. I work in the automotive industry, and it's become increasingly popular for customers to pay out of pocket even when they have insurance. If they choose not to file a claim, insurance cannot total the vehicle. That also helps them avoid an increase in their insurance. This is likely a fleet vehicle. That just means it was owned by a company, rental agency, dealer, business, etc. Those vehicles they get sent to auction all the time when they're cycled out. Copart shows the seller as non-insurance company and the sale document as certificate of title. This is not the same thing as an insurance seller or a salvage title. The Carfax is also clean, no total loss, no accident damage reported, no structural damage, and no airbag deployment reported. Okay. So, yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, does it matter if it was even totaled or not? I mean, but it's good just to like read and know, right? So I wanted to show you guys that. So again, we've got that much, right? And then I wanted to go over, let's see what else I have for you guys. I've got some old Erica Kirk videos to go over. We've got quite a bit. So like I said, I have a lot sitting here. So let's just figure out where we want to go to next. The next thing I want to go to is this was shared by Diligent on X. And I don't know how many of you guys have seen how way in the beginning. Sorry, I got to think to myself because there's a lot's changed since then. But way in the beginning, I think it was Jesse on Fire was showing that he had talked to, or someone talked to Tyler's grandma, not him, somebody did. And Tyler's grandma said, her son would not, have shot anybody. He wasn't super familiar with guns and so on and so forth. So this is interesting because again, remember, we have no footage of Tyler turning himself in at the police department. They said he did, but that went missing, which to me, like, the police department is a very secure building. I find it hard to believe that something like that would go missing, quote unquote. But I guess stranger things have happened, right? So Diligent shows this text message. So family of Tyler Robinson confirms Tyler did not confess to his parents to killing Charlie Kirk. He told them he did not kill Charlie. Tyler's parents do not believe Tyler killed CK. Tyler's parents called their bishop out of fear for his safety. Neither Tyler or his parents told the bishop or sheriff that Tyler did this. Someone in that chain. So bishop to retired sheriff exchanged the narrative. The retired sheriff turned Tyler in to the sheriff in the afternoon of September 11th, 2025. Tyler's parents accompanied to support, which makes sense. Phone was confiscated as soon as he arrived at the sheriff's office. How did Tyler send text confessions if he was in police custody and he also didn't have his phone, is what they're saying. The official narrative has some very big problems. So I'll make this bigger. Turn the music off so I don't get a copyright, and we'll go through the conversation. Can you guys read that? Let me know in chat if you guys can read that, okay? It should be big enough. No, they were concerned for his safety. So we could pause that. So Tyler never told his parents, the bishop or the sheriff who gave them a ride, that he killed CK. That is correct. Let's go back to this one. Where is it? Okay. When they called the bishop, did they tell them or tell him that Tyler killed CK? No, they were very concerned for his safety. And then they said, so the time the retired sheriff came and picked up Tyler and his parents was on September 11th in the afternoon. Yes. And we'll go through it one more time. We'll just let it play. So just to be clear, Tyler told his dad, Matt, that he did not do this. That is correct. So does Tyler's parents think he did it? No. Did the parents call the bishop because they thought Tyler was guilty or out of fear for his safety? Safety. So these are now leaked text messages allegedly. We'll just say allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. Okay. So we'll move on to the next thing. So I thought that was interesting. And again, when you get into custody, I'm pretty sure if they're just bringing you in for questioning, they don't take your phone right away, to my knowledge. Let's go to, this made me really sad. So I wanted to kind of put this up here. Hold on. Let me take this down. Sorry, guys, bear with me. I'm like pulling things up as we go. Sometimes it can take a minute. Okay. So, it's when I was doing a live the other day on this, remember I told you that, me and my husband found this picture and that the Rode mic had pinched Charlie's shirt and it was kind of like on that weird angle. And my husband and I were like, well, that's weird that it was like sitting on that kind of an angle, right? And then I was going to look for video footage. My husband and I were trying to find like more of original video footage because at this point there's so much, video footage that's been gone and changed. So again, this is what my husband and I were like, this is weird. So Project Constitution said new video, Charlie Kirk adjusting his lapel mic just minutes before he was killed while addressing trans hecklers. And if you watch the video, Charlie, I'll turn this off, but he's going to touch his shirt towards the end here. So see how it's sitting wonky, like I was talking about in that live the other day, and look at what he's going to do. And immediately my husband and I were like, that right there tells me, in my opinion, that Charlie, something about that mic had to feel different, that he was like, he did it, I think he did it a couple times. And my guess is, and this is just my guess because I don't know anything about explosives or whatever, not my realm, but maybe it was heavier, it felt heavier. And to Charlie, like that was something he noticed. So he just fidgeted with it. That's what I think. And it kind of makes you sick. Like when you look at that footage, we can go back and watch it again really quick. And so that was something I wanted to show you guys because that was interesting. So, yeah, it's really, really sad when you go back to watch the footage. At least in my opinion, it is. Because I think he can kind of tell something's wrong. We're going to look at this next. Because this is pretty interesting. So we'll pull that down. We're going to pull this up because this is interesting. So the last live I did, we went over the footage from behind where Charlie was sitting, and we were going over like, why is the guy running around with the, caution tape? I had covered that back on New Year's Eve, December 31st. I did a live. I went through all this. I went through why are all these security guards in the back? Why are they not in the front kind of thing? And I was really weirded out by where people were, how they were moving. Someone's always holding caution tape throughout the whole thing, which is weird. Just a lot of weird things going on. And remember, I was showing you guys even back in December when I was going over this, I said, why are they waving EMS off? Why are they doing this? Like there was all these weird things going on back here. And I didn't even think to look at this girl because I was so focused on like the security and, why Frank Turk and them were like, running around the car, and Frank Turk like partially opens the trunk, doesn't let the trunk open all the way. It's like, was he hiding something in the trunk? Like everything about I was so focused with that I didn't even look really at the random people around necessarily. I was looking at the security team, but let's look at this together.
Here, watch this lady, Charlie. This is proof again of a setup. Watch. She's not looking at Charlie. She's recording the crisis actor. See that lady walk by her, run by her? She's recording that. It's like the Sagruda film. It's all stage acting. It's a movie. They're setting up the play. She's not looking at Charlie. Charlie is the main attraction. Look, she walks away. They're still putting him in the car. She walks away. Right there is proof that this was a setup. These are crisis actors. Her job was to record, to put that on the internet. Watch this lady. There's putting Charlie in the car. Now look where she's recording. She's looking at that girl running by her. She's not looking at Charlie. That's a crisis actor on the left. See how they're acting real dramatic and emotional? Charlie's over to the right. Look where her camera is. She's recording the crisis actors. She's setting the stage. Remarkable. I mean, it's been since September 10th, 2025 since this happened. They're still putting Charlie in the car. She turns and walks away.
Okay. So that to me was interesting. That was posted by Sailor Girl. I don't know who the original person was that's talking here. Um Again, there's a lot of people that believe that it's very possible that, he faked his death. Again, there's a lot of compelling evidence. I don't personally believe that, but that doesn't mean that that's not the case. I don't know. And I don't know if we'll ever know. All I can do is say that, um between the money problems at Turning Point that were going on, Charlie ordered an audit. There were things that were weird, right? And so, you have to ask yourself, if you're being an honest person, what was going on there. There were weird things going on. And so it's a matter of like, could he have done it and faked his death because of all the stuff that was going? Sure. But do I believe he did? Not necessarily. I think Charlie's gone, but I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not one to ever be like, hey, this is a definite, I know everything, you know nothing. That's just not me. I think I can see both sides of it. Personally, there were too many reasons to take Charlie out. You know what I mean? There was just, they couldn't have Charlie alive for several of the reasons that we're going to go over. There's a video I want you guys to watch with me that did a good job of it, showing Charlie talk. And it really does show you why, Charlie wasn't useful breathing, essentially. Before we jump into that, again, I'm going to show you guys something else that is interesting, but this I found really interesting because I was like, oh, here we go. And we're going to go into George Zinn and stuff a little bit as well. So this was Republicus. They had posted saying, we're just going to say allegedly here, allegedly Erica Kirk's uncle, Jack Solomon, has ties to UVU, serving as a board member for the school's Center for Jewish Studies. As you guys know, I think she had Nicole Rothstein, wasn't Rothstein the cousin? So someone had asked, I think, Rock to verify this. Jack Sullivan, married to Erica Kirk's aunt Carla Fransby since 2002, was a board member of the Center for Jewish Studies, founded in 1995 at Utah Valley University, now UVU. A July 1995 Desert News article confirms he was one of the 25 directors alongside academics and figures like Joe Cannon. The center offered classes and lectures on Jewish history, Zionism, and Israel to promote Mormon-Jewish dialogue and understanding of shared heritage. Solomon, a Utah resident, businessman, casino slot machine ventures, Colorado Bell Hebrew Jewish University trustee, and Jerusalem philanthropist. Zion's Gate Restoration praised local Christian support for Jewish causes. He graduated from the school. Some viral claims mixing his bio with BYU's David Galbraith are inaccurate. The center appears to have been a short-lived educational effort. So, I thought that was interesting. Let's see what this says. So it's the same thing, just repeating it. Now Grok is saying available sources show no evidence he founded or directed the center's programming was modest and appears short-lived. He is also noted in reports at UVSC alumni and was a businessman, Hebrew University trustee at the time. So, you know what I mean? It was just something interesting to point out. Again, like I'm going to dig on this more. I just thought this was interesting. This is another thing that we've noticed this from the beginning. Again, we talk about why UVU, you know what I mean? And why Utah? And I think there's a lot of reasons. Law is part of it. Connections is another part of it. I think there's a lot going on here. So I just figured I would show you guys that. I thought that was an interesting thing. I didn't know how many of you guys had seen some of this stuff. So I wanted to kind of point this stuff out. Again, I'm still looking at certain things in the background and verifying more, but this caught my eye. Again, because I've done a lot of digging just to see like why Utah, aside from certain laws, aside from, again, not, for people who are Mormon, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but the Mormon community is a tight knit community. The LDS church, I mean, it's just everyone knows it's tight lipped. And so I think that's how you get, this, no information really being shared. I think it's how you get this control of a situation. And there's more that goes into that. That's just only a small part of it, right? Let's see. Yeah, the shape of the courtyard is interesting. I mean, it is cult-like. It does come across cult-like, yes. Let's see. If people are not going to be polite and civil, they're going to get kicked out of here. So, that is not going to last long. Let's see. Thank you for those of you that have sent cash apps. I appreciate it. I've gotten some text messages. I haven't looked at anything while I'm on the live. All right. I will read all the super chats at the end. I do see them, and I promise I will get to those at the end. I appreciate all of you guys that are buying memberships and super chatting, and I will go through that at the end. All right. So the next thing I wanted to show you guys was, we all talk about George Zinn and the Zinn family, and there's like a lot of interesting things because you have George Zinn, you got Jack Hibbs, and they're all very interesting characters. But George Zinn, so it's a decoy paid proxy. Okay. Make no mistake, decoy paid proxy. George Hodgins Zinn has been arrested 20 times, stacked charges for criminal trespass, obstruction, disorderly conduct, theft, and interference with officers, a repeat offender, a walking rap sheet. Yet somehow he's still not in prison. That's the exact same pattern we saw with Ryan Wesley Ruth, another man with a long criminal history, repeatedly arrested, repeatedly charged, yet shielded for years until he finally snapped. George Zinn's charges include failure to disclose identity, obstruction of justice, criminal trespass multiple times, interference with arresting officer, interfering with an officer, disorderly conduct, theft of services repeated. So again, and he's also been coincidentally around for several different events. It's interesting how, Dee Dee got a podcast, did a great breakdown of, the Kozaks. Hunter Kozak's mom was, I think she's a teacher or a principal at a school where there was a kid brought a what to school, a pew to school. And so you start to look at these situations, you're like, well, how are all these people connected to all these huge tragedies or these huge things going on in the world? How many, if you were at 9/11, let's say, how could you have been at Sandy Hook? Like, what are the odds? I mean, it's just almost nothing. And you see that a lot with several of these people that happen to just somehow find their way into the Charlie Kirk case. It's just, you have to look at it and scratch your head. New show, same old actors. Yep, basically. Looks very, very, very similar, right? Let's see. All right. So we're going to move on to the next thing. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get in order here. Well, I'm trying to go into order that would make sense, right? Okay, we're going to watch this video. This is Charlie Kirk. He is talking about several big issues. This is a 16-minute video. So we're going to play this and we're going to talk about it. We'll break it up a little bit. Artifacts memorandum posted this on X, and they said, "Do you understand why Charlie Kirk had to go? Are you seeing the bigger picture? If not, here's a 16-minute unedited clip of him explaining how he thought the neocon warmongering approach was I can't even talk today, you guys. Philosophically wrong, and for the sake of the youth, we need to avoid conflict entirely. No matter how much Blake Neff says, we'll never know how he'd feel. The tape is there. The difference is Charlie was the one in the president's ear talking him down. Now that he's gone, the neocons are back running the show in full force." So you got to remember, Charlie talks about how, I got to pull this up. Sorry, guys. He talked about how, they tell you, he would call Trump and say, "Hey, you can't do this or you can't do that," or "Hey, don't do this or that." And Trump respected him. Trump would listen. So again, the first term of Trump is very different from the term now. And you have to wonder why that is. I'm going to be doing a breakdown of another interview of a connection to Epstein, but it makes a lot of sense, and it also ties into some of the stuff we're seeing now, and I just think it's really important to cover, but that'll be another live, one of the next couple ones, but we're going to go ahead and listen to this.
About Israel and Iran and potentially the United States. Right now, there is a mass mobilization underway of U.S. aircraft and the USS Nimitz into the Middle East to be prepared. In fact, the president right now, President of the United States, President Trump, is sending up some very spicy Truth Social posts. He says, quote, "We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We're not going to take him out. Kill." I love that. At least not for now. But we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And then President Trump says 2 words in all caps: unconditional surrender. For 10 years, President Donald Trump has said that Iran should not get a nuclear weapon. For 10 years, he has been consistent about this. And so now President Trump is left with a choice. Israel has done a lot of work in Iran. They have bombed a lot of targets, but there are some nuclear facilities where the weaponry is hidden within a mountain. It is within a deep, deep bunker. And it would potentially require U.S. involvement or what's called bunker busting bombs, otherwise brokered by B-52 or American bombers. Now, in situations like this, it's important to understand that we do not know all the facts or the circumstances or the elements surrounding this. President Donald Trump has to make a very important decision. Does the United States get involved kinetically against Iran? So what would this look like? If the United States were to get involved with Iran, you can see all public reports. It looks like there is a mobilization to the region. America bombing Iran would be a direct escalation. Now, it would not be the same as bombing their oil fields or even bombing the supreme leader. The most basic action would be drop a bunker buster on their underground nuclear plant. And some people claim that's the only thing we have to do. But the cautionary tale that I would say both privately and publicly, and I'm going to Washington, D.C. tomorrow, and I will say this on the show, and I'll say this to anyone that will listen. It's very hard to stop a war when you want, and it's hard to stop a war once you're in the midst of a war. So let's say that the United States bombs Fordo with bunker busting bombs. And Iran getting a nuclear weapon, not good. No one wants that. You can see how it's changed the geopolitical calculus when North Korea has a nuclear weapon. It makes us treat North Korea in a way that we otherwise would not treat it. We have to put more time, attention, detail, troops, intelligence. What otherwise would be a third world country, the fact they have a nuclear weapon, we have to take them far more seriously. If we were to bomb Fordo, Iran would likely and probably consider this to be an act of war. Would they respond and try to target U.S. bases? Would they try and target U.S. troops? Would they activate sleeper cells within the interior of the United States? These are all things that President Trump has to factor in. On the other side, President Donald Trump has said, I will not allow Iran to get a nuclear weapon because he has said when crazy people have weapons of unthinkable violence, you have to deal in reality. The longer I live, the more I realize that puritanical, ideological approaches to situations like this are not helpful. On one side is the Lindsey Graham, John Bolton types, where they are actively calling for regime change. Can we play the tape of Lindsey Graham yesterday, who's just, quite honestly, just making a lunatic of himself? It just looks like a lunatic on. Time for us to close the chapter on the mullahs and the Ayatollah. So let me first just paint to you the two extremes, and then also let you know that's actually not how life works. And Donald Trump is actually rejecting both extremes. Here is Lindsey Graham. This is just lunacy. He's this kind of analysis is not helpful. This kind of approach, this kind of argument, it has nothing to do with nuclear weapons at this point. This is now that we want to go all in and take out the regime. It's time for us to close the chapter on the Iranian Ayatollah and his henchmen and start a new chapter in the Middle East. And that sounds good, doesn't it? But what have we learned when it comes to wars, and especially wars in the Middle East? What you draw up on a whiteboard rarely happens. What you think theoretically is going to occur, there might be unintended and unforeseen consequences, especially when you're talking about a country 2.5 times the size of Texas. It has 90 million people and was an ancient and great power with well over a dozen ethnic groups. You have underground Christians. You don't really have many Jews left in Persia, but also you have secular younger Persians. Who's going to run the country exactly, Lindsey Graham? This sounds like Hillary Rodham Clinton in Libya. So I'm pointing to the first extreme right now, the neoconservative extreme. We must go take off the head of the snake right now. And Donald Trump is doing a phenomenal job of resisting these calls for regime change. He's playing around with it on Truth Social, as he should rhetorically. President Trump should rhetorically taunt and rhetorically threaten regime change. Absolutely, he should engage in information warfare. Play cut 285.
Be all in, President Trump, in helping Israel eliminate the nuclear threat. If we need to provide bombs to...
So the whole point in showing this is to show people this is like an unedited version of Charlie's views. And you can see that the views that he had versus what they're trying to mold the narrative to be of Charlie, which I think the documentary is very strategic. I think it's going to come out before this trial. I think it's to narrative control. I think that's the reason why they deleted all these lives off the Charlie Kirk show. I think it's why you see a lot of Charlie Kirk's social media posts deleted, because when they said building a legacy, they are building whatever Charlie's legacy needs to be. Because if it was about keeping Charlie's legacy, it would have been leaving this stuff up because his legacy was already built. His legacy is what he leaves behind. It's the work he already did. And so I do not believe that you would remove that. You would leave that up for generations to come to be able to experience Charlie Kirk for what he was. And again, for those people that, say, oh, well, you think Charlie was a saint. You act like Charlie was a saint. Charlie was a human being. He was not a saint. I'm not a saint. We've all said things we shouldn't. We all grow up. We're not the same people 10 years from now that we were 10 years ago. Viewpoints change. Maturity happens. You educate yourself. You learn something. You may change your viewpoint on something. Charlie is no different than me. We all bleed the same. So I'm not saying that. But do I think Charlie Kirk was a monster? No, I don't. I think there's 10 times worse out there. Again, I think a lot of people, they've been deleting content. I covered right in the beginning, before people even really caught on to them deleting, before they even caught on to like them deleting a lot off the Charlie Kirk show. I was showing that. So they started that almost right away. Within the first month of him passing away, I covered that they had deleted the 2 years of campus tours off of his YouTube channel. And now they're all gone. They deleted it almost immediately.
Israel, provide bombs. If we need to fly planes with Israel, do joint operations. But here's the bigger question. Wouldn't the world be better off if the Ayatollahs went away and replaced by something better? Wouldn't Iran be better off? It's time to close the chapter on the Iranian Ayatollah and his henchmen. Let's close that chapter soon and start a new chapter in the Mideast, one of tolerance, hope, and peace.
Okay, that sounds good, but that's pathologically insane. I'm sorry. It is. How do you know it's going to be better? Yeah, the Ayatollah is awful, but maybe he's one of the few guys that can keep that country together and not have a 90 million person civil war. Lindsey Graham is so consistently out of his mind, it's hard to even comprehend. Iran is hugely diverse. It is a massive country. Do the people agitating for war even know that? Because be clear, regime change is war. Just to understand, regime change is not like changing the head coach at the Chicago Bears. It's not how it works. Oh, we're going to bring a new head coach. I think that some people think that it's as easy in like sports terms. Oh, we're just, okay, Nick Saban is gone. We're going to go bring in the coach from University of Washington. Sorry, Andrew. Oh, okay. Mario Cristobal left the University of Oregon. We're going to go bring in Dan Lanning, which actually ended up being very good regime change. It doesn't work that way. It's not like a clean transfer. Typically in the Mideast, it's very messy, creates a quagmire, and then there is civil war. Do you understand how large Iran is? It's massive. It's a very big country. It's mountainous. It makes Afghanistan and Iraq look like a cakewalk. Just look at this beast of a country with all the different regions, all the different dialects. If we could put that up on screen. And then you have a major refugee concern of Mohammedans that will come to Europe and endanger more Christians and Jews, and Mohammedans that will come to America. No, that is wrong. So that is one extreme. Now, Donald Trump rejects that, and he says, no, I don't want regime change. He's never ran on regime change. He doesn't believe in regime change. He is resistant to that. But there is another extreme. There is another extreme, and I get the temptation to be in the other extreme. I actually agree with a lot of this other extreme, a lot. I think it's healthy to have this other extreme more than the neoconservative extreme, because this extreme has been underrepresented in the public dialogue and discourse the last 20 years. The other extreme is one that I have deep respect and reverence for, because I actually think if we had that other extreme, we would not have invaded Iraq. This other extreme is philosophically important. It's important to consider, and that's the Ron Paul extreme. And I love Ron Paul. Ron Paul is awesome. I would have Ron Paul on the show regularly. He is a hero because Ron Paul had the courage to challenge old sacred cows of the Republican Party. He made people defend the indefensible. But the Ron Paul perspective is strictly isolationist. He would say, who cares if oil goes to $140 a barrel? That's not our role. We don't need to police the Strait of Hormuz. It doesn't matter if Iran gets a nuclear weapon. Kind of fortress America, fortify it, and let the rest of the world do.
It almost makes you, at least for me, teary-eyed to watch Charlie in his element, because I don't know. I mean, I was watching when this took place, and it was an awful thing to see. It's not a way to see somebody, as someone who's worked in the medical field for over 10 years, and I've seen terrible, terrible things working in the ER and surgery. That was bad. To see a person be killed like that was bad. It's not normal. It's not healthy. The internet's desensitized a lot of people. So to see him, when you go back and you get to look at these videos of Charlie where Charlie's being his authentic self, and I don't know. It's emotional to think about what happened to him. It's just awful.
Do what it wants to do. Sounds good, but it doesn't work, as the American economy is actually largely dependent on intertwined global trade. You don't have to like it. It's the way it is. I'm going to keep on building up these two extremes because President Donald Trump actually finds himself in the arithmetic mean and a very prudent middle to weigh both options. He is not an isolationist nor a neocon. He's an American patriot. I'll explain more after the break. Welcome back, everybody. Email us, freedom@charliekirk.com.
So we won't play the whole thing. There's 6 more minutes left, but I just wanted to show you guys that, you look at this and you go, did Charlie really have to die? And I think the answer is yes. I think that if he didn't, it would just be, I don't think we would have seen some of the things that have gone on. So in my opinion, people are focusing on like, it's just Israel, or it's just this, or it's just that. It's a collective of things. I don't think someone is off for one viewpoint on one thing. First off, it's the fact that he could reach people. It doesn't matter what your following is if your reach is good. So like if you have a smaller following, but people listen to you and you have the power to influence, that's when you become a problem. And so it's that. And I think it was about not only his viewpoints, but the fact that he had the ability to reach people. He had the ability to stay calm. And again, I talk about this all the time. When you're yelling and screaming and swearing and insulting people and whatever, and you're like, and they get quiet and you're like, oh yeah, I got him. No, you didn't. All they did is they started to ignore you, and they look at you and they go, you're crazy. And then no one listens to anything. Charlie was level-headed. He spoke respectfully. He let people give their takes. And he used facts over emotions, and he kept it classy, period. The man debated in the calmest fashion that you could. I don't know what else to say. Again, I don't agree with every single thing Charlie Kirk said. I don't. There are things that we disagree on, but that doesn't take away, now today, people are like, if they don't like every single thing that you cover and how you cover it, like let's say, most people have found my channel because of the Charlie Kirk stuff, right? So I'll do a couple videos on not Charlie Kirk stuff because my channel can't be only Charlie Kirk. There's other things going on in the world that are important. And they'll be like, oh, well, I started following you for Charlie Kirk and you posted not about Charlie Kirk. So like, da-da-da. It's like, it gets crazier. Oh, you don't see it this way, so I'm going to unfollow you. I mean, guys, if I stopped being friends with people because they didn't agree with me on politics or religion or I don't even know how to raise kids or style and fashion, we would have no friends. You can look at someone and be like, hey, I like you, I love you, but I don't fully agree with you on everything, and it not be, a game changer. And now people are just so quick to cut people off. Oh, well, you don't see everything my way. It's just, it's a little crazy. You can support somebody. Two things can coexist at the same time. Two viewpoints can be valid at the same time. So I don't know. I really like how Charlie handled things. And I just wanted to show you guys that clip. That way we could just look at Charlie from the standpoint of who he was before, he left this earth. Because a lot of that footage is gone. Let's see. And I do go off into like life advice or relate things to life. So just so you guys know, for those of you who are new, I think it's important also to leave those messages here and there because there's, you never know what people are going through. You never know who you can help along the way. Things that have happened in my life where I've learned the hard way or where I could have did better. So I'm always one to try to like throw in, a little piece of something. Okay, so we're going to go back to the car because I totally forgot I had this for you guys, but this is Mason Lemmy. Mason Lemmy, if you've been following me, this is the the young man that worked for Turning Point USA, who wrote the 10-page resignation letter, and put a video up on X that I covered. He's done a lot of, if you're a member, I did a members only video on his recent take on, getting all the donate to Turning Point letters at his house. Which, he got a lot of hate for. But Mason has an X, and he posted reminder for any of you people who still believe in the official Turning Point narrative. The SUV that they put Charlie Kirk in to take him to the hospital was stripped and put up for auction less than 10 days after he was killed. It wasn't kept for evidence. That should tell you everything you need to know. And so here we go. Here's the outside of the car. I showed you guys this from Instagram. They had to cut all of this out. So for everyone who said, oh, the car didn't have a lot of red stuff in it, it did. And it obviously sunk through to where they were worried about cutting all that out. And this is just to go to show you that the day, I believe, that they turned it into whoever they were giving it to. And the VIN number was even given up. So that's where people are like, oh, how do people get the VIN number to look into the Carfax and so on and so forth? This is where people got that information. I would love to know who bought that car. If you bought that car and that's your VIN number, please email patriotichousewife@gmail.com, because I would love to know. Just curious who bought that. Let's see. Oh, look at this. Is this really 3 hours ago? All right. We might have just got our. Oh, okay. Well, we're getting this live because this just was posted 3 hours ago. Let's listen to this. So it says, I just put up a video. The company that purchased the SUV in December 2025 is Westlake Financials, which is owned by Don Hankey. So he helped Trump with his civil fraud bond case. Oh, boy.
Because they have found out who purchased the SUV that Charlie took his final ride into the hospital. So in December of 2025, this vehicle went up for auction and Westlake Financials purchased it. Now it was resold again in April of 2026 to Jessup Auto Plaza. But the Westlake Financial purchase back in December of 2025 is very crucial. Westlake Financials is owned by a man named Don Hankey Sr. He helped Trump with his civil fraud bond case. So he has ties to Trump. Now, I'm not sure if it was him or his son, because he does have a son named Don Hankey Jr. Also, this vehicle was cleaned out. The insurance company totaled it, and then it was sold at auction. And Westlake Financials is who bought it at auction back in December of 2025. I'm going to upload the proof for y'all to see for yourselves, and let's talk about it in the comments. Please like, follow, share, subscribe, and comment.
That is what I showed you guys earlier. We already went through that, so we'll just pause that. So, okay, so that is who bought it. So Westlake Financials is who purchased the SUV in December 2025. I'm going to write that down. Hold on. Sorry, guys. And it's Don Hankey. Which we can look him up here in a few minutes on our own, actually. We can do that while we're live. Again, the connections in the case are just very weird. So I wanted to show you guys that. That was Mason Lemmy. Let's see. In a vehicle's homicide investigation, forensics teams removed the seats and up and center console. So like what we were talking about earlier, like either they should have kept the car or there were things that should have been cut out and kept. personally, Karen Reed. So let's go back to the Karen Reed case. How many of you guys in the chat followed Karen Reed? Because I'm going to be doing a lot of videos going back over trial 1, trial 2, and the civil case. And I'm going to tell you what, Karen Reed didn't even get her Lexus SUV back that they thought backed into John O'Keefe. Okay. They were last summer, when she was found not guilty, she was still fighting up until I think Christmas time this last year, to get her car back. So they kept Karen Reed's car. Do you know that they tore up her Lexus on the inside so bad to where they have to total it out anyway? Because they tore the car up. You know, they want to get the black box out, or what's called the black box, however they refer to it. I refer to it as a black box. I know it's not what it's called when it comes to a car. It's like a something data recorder, I think they call it. You don't know about the Karen Reed case? Well, listen, how I ended up on YouTube creating long form content as well is because I covered the corruption in the Karen Reed trial. And I was covering some politics stuff on my TikTok, and my TikTok blew up over just, I would sit in front of the TV. You could ask Alex this. He's in the chat. That's my husband, who's my mod. And I would sit here from 9 in the morning until 5 p.m. And I was the 13th juror on the Karen Reed case. And then I would report on it on TikTok afterwards and do TikTok lives going over the case, the whole nine. And people wanted long form content. And so I really should have started my YouTube around the time of Karen Reed, because I could tell you anything and everything about that case. They are in a civil lawsuit right now, so no justice for John yet. The hard thing with ever getting justice for John is that they spent time trying to try Karen Reed twice. And so it would be very difficult to bring someone up on charges for his murder after that. I believe it's going to be a challenge. Again, they wasted a lot of money on trial. Millions of dollars wasted on 2 trials. Millions. But there's a civil case, and there's a lot of people being sued. Bars, Higgy and everybody are suing each other. Karen Reed is suing the Alberts, and everyone's suing everybody. So that's going to be a whole long thing. We'll have to do a live where we just talk about it, because Karen Reed is set for life after what happened to her. She's going to end up winning all these lawsuits. I mean, the civil case, I find interesting that if you are found not guilty, that a family can even bring charges against you civilly to pay you money in a lawsuit when it was proven that your car didn't kill their son. But whatever, you can still win actually in a civil case. But I don't know if they will. Let's see. Yeah, and in the Karen Reed case, we saw corrupt cops, corrupt judges, corrupt mayor. It had corruption in the government. I mean, you want to talk about corruption in every tier? The Karen Reed case had corruption at every stop. So when people say it's impossible, it's not. When people say, oh, well, it doesn't really matter. Well, it does, because it's not you today, but it could be you tomorrow. So you should be worried, especially if you live in towns and areas where there is a lot of, local corruption. It does matter. Because you don't have to be doing anything wrong anymore to be framed for something. So people should care. Okay, we're going to jump into this. This I found interesting. Sam Parker had brought this up. And he said it was something that was overlooked, which I did not know this. So I was really interested in this. It says overlooked Charlie Kirk crime scene rewind. Russell Kennington, an 8-year U.S. Army combat medic, was arrested for trespassing onto the Charlie Kirk crime scene the morning after the, he had to cross 2 sets of crime scene barriers complete with yellow tape. Kennington was charged with with capital obstruction of justice, a first-degree felony, and criminal trespass, a misdemeanor, but both charges were dropped the same day and he was released. In the arrest video, an officer carries a tagged gun that appears to be very lightweight as he's leisurely holding it with one finger. No gun is mentioned in the arrest or the booking records, and UVU has no records related to his arrest. even though UVU is required by law to have documented the incident. I have so many questions, he says. Why does an Army veteran leave his civilian job during the workday to go criminally trespass onto a high-profile crime scene under active investigation? Did Kennington bring the, we'll just say, I don't even know, weapon, or was it retrieved at the crime scene? What happened to the you-know-what? What does UVU have, or why doesn't UVU have any record of the incident? Who decided to drop the charges and let him go the same day? Was it Governor Cox and the FBI, who we now know ordered the rapid destruction and paving over the crime scene? What more are they covering up? Why was he really there? Do you think you could trespass with a weapon onto the fresh crime scene of the, of the century, and the police would just let you go after arresting you? Would it even enter your brain to attempt it? What's really going on here? And we'll watch the video. So this is him being arrested. Now, those of you who probably know Sam Parker. I did an interview with Sam Parker on the channel very early on in the Charlie Kirk investigation. Sam Parker's great, local to Utah. And so he posted this, and I just found it to be very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to show you guys that. I didn't know how many people saw that. Again, I do not remember hearing about anyone being arrested for being on UVU's property. So I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up to you guys. That's interesting. Why would somebody go and trespass when they know that someone was just killed the day before? Why were there not people guarding the crime scene the next day? Because didn't Kash Patel show up the next day, and then all these things were magically found, and Phil Lyman's nephew just apparently is like the investigator of the century compared to Kash Patel. So many questions, so many weird things there. What else? I mean, and no incident report for the college. It's very lacking. It's very interesting. Again, there's a lot of weird things going on in this case, a lot of weird stuff. We're going to now go through, this was interesting. Where did it go? Should be in here. Nope, that's not it. Hold on, guys. Sorry. I don't know what happened to that one. That was supposed to be a different video, but okay. Oh, it might be right here. Hold on. Someone posted a old video of Erica Kirk speaking, and I love when we're able to find old footage still, because you can delete things as best you can, but they end up somewhere else. Again, so many people screen record and post things after the fact. So I just wanted to share this little snippet. I know we all don't like Erica, obviously, but this was interesting. So Charlie's Angels 47 put, "Fret not that Candace is on break for 2 weeks. We have found an old speech from Erica Franzve at Extraordinary Women's Conference." Let's listen to Erica Kirk. Like I said, this is an old clip.
When you see evil,
what you're supposed to do as a Christian. If you just stay silent because you're like, oh, I don't want someone to judge me. I don't want my neighbor to think I'm weird or that I read those blogs. A woman of the word is a true woman. It's not a worldly woman. A woman of the word stands out way more than just a woman who calls the world her God, follows the stars, gets her direction from rocks. God made the rocks. Not to be insulting, but truly, to do that. Because you might be the only Bible that someone ever reads. So if you're not living your life in a way that's convicting and pure and honest and righteous, carrying your cross every day, dying to yourself every day, you're the missing piece to something. Because now more than ever, you have to disassociate yourself from corrupting influences.
So, yeah, she's a character, isn't she? Really, truly. She's talking about what evil is. I always say it's always so rich when it comes from that type of person. And then someone put in the comments, "Sex sells, babe." This was when this one came out. This was I couldn't even believe. I was like, oh no.
Showcase it.
Sex sells, babe.
Sex sells. That's me.
That's against religion.
Showcase
What
it.
happened
Sex
to
sells,
our
babe.
Sex sells.
I'm a Christian. I'm a trad wife. What happened? Sex sells, babe. I mean, what a turnaround. Again, not that people can't change, but I mean,
When you see evil,
she's like, oh, I never dated before Charlie. I never did this before Charlie. I didn't even look at another man before Charlie. Oh my gosh, look at men, gross. Look at another man and be like, oh, he's attractive, gross. Never did it. She looks huge there. What's that outfit? I think Erica back then dressed very she wore like a lot of like gym workout clothes. And again, I think this was around the time, well, she has her wedding rings on. So, I mean, her and Charlie were together. I just think she was more modest. And then I think now that Charlie's gone, I think she dresses very different. She is a chameleon. I will agree with that. I seen that in the chat really quick. So I just want to show you guys that video. I thought that was interesting. Now we're going to go look at Mason Lemmy's post because he's been doing a lot of posting on X. Again, he used to work for Turning Point. I feel bad for him. He's the one who did the 10-page resignation letter to write down like 10 to 12 pages worth of why you're leaving a company and then to go and create a video and tell your story. I think that that's not made up feelings. That's when you truly feel disheartened and you know what I mean? Again, your morals and values don't align with that company anymore. And something that you used to be proud of, you're just, you're not proud of anymore. And I feel bad. So he put, I'm done calling Erica Kirk. Charlie was deceived. He's not Jesus. He was human just like the rest of us, capable of being deceived just like the rest of us. Erica Franzve is guilty. That is my opinion, and that is what I believe to be the truth until Turning Point USA comes clean about what really happened on 9/10. So I just wanted to show you guys that. Then there's another post that he did that we'll just look at really quick, and then we're going to get back into more investigation stuff because there's more to go over there. I just figured I would throw some of this in there because, it's, again, these are people that worked with Charlie. They knew Charlie. And they're completely, and it's like Aubrey, they're completely heartbroken. They got into this, they felt the company had morals and values. And I think Charlie, was somebody who inspired people. I think he was very encouraging and made people feel like they could change their life and make a difference. And so, yes, Charlie is a human. Charlie was not perfect, but these are young kids. These are kids in their 20s. He touched their life in a way where they believed there was better. And then now they're watching everything that he stood for be ruined. And I'm sure when you're connected to that on a personal level, it's hurtful. It's hurtful to us. And we don't even know Charlie. Imagine having that relationship or friendship. It would hurt you. No one cares about what Turning Point 2.0 has to say about other political issues until we figure out exactly what happened on September 10. Change the name of the Charlie Kirk Show. I've been calling for that for a long time. This was posted yesterday.
You know what's so funny to me is I see like Blake Nev, Andrew Colvette, even Jack Posobiec, even though I don't think he was like as much involved as they were. And even like Mikey McCoy and stuff, they'll post all of this stuff about like leftist issues and like all like the other issues going on in politics. And I'm just sitting here like, I don't care about your opinion on anything. We're talking about September 10th still. Until we get to the bottom of this, I still think a lot of you people had involvement. So this is just my opinion, but this is my thoughts on Andrew Colvette, Jack Posobiec, Mikey McCoy, Blake Neff, Tyler Boyer, any of these Turning Point people that are like trying to continue talking about other areas of politics when we're actually still trying to figure out what happened to Charlie, who you claim to care so much about. We don't care at all. Anytime I see Andrew Colvette tweet about like some statue or something or some BLM issue or some LGBTQ issue, I literally just comment and say, I know you had foreknowledge about 9/10. I don't care about anything else. Why would you? Why are you trying to like get engagement on Twitter over something when we're actually trying to still figure out what happened to the person that you claim to care so much about? So, if any of them happen to see this, maybe like think before you talk, because you guys get flamed in your YouTube comments on a daily basis. Like nobody cares about the Charlie Kirk Show at all. Change the name of it. It's embarrassing and it's disrespectful to Charlie. So like no one likes it. So if you guys aren't going to change the name, at least be truthful, and you can't even do that. So you guys actually all suck.
Yep. I think we are at a whole different point now, with this entire thing. It's unfortunate, but this is what it is now. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to stop sharing this. We're going to share this other one. This is going to be the last one for Mason, but he also did this on Frank Turk. Now, I want to start with the fact that I had talked with a Turning Point USA source that was telling me that Frank Turek, this is what I was told. This is all alleged. This is just speculation. I have no proof of this. And they wanted to remain anonymous. And this was told to me a little while ago, and I've talked about it. Frank Turek, is like, oh, Charlie was like my son. And, we were just like so close. And I've been told that they were not that close, that is not the case. So yes, he was in Charlie's life, but it was more recent than, he's like, oh, making it seem like they were, a part of each other's lives forever. It was not like that. So there's a lot of interesting non-truths here. Also how Frank Turek even got involved in Turning Point USA. I've done some research and could tie him in with a woman who happened to, and I'll get into it, but it ties into probably the not really unthinkable, but Frank Turek was involved with people that, he didn't just organically end up in Charlie's life, in my opinion. So we're going to listen to Mason again on, he said Charlie, or so someone said, Honest Ash shared this clip. Charlie's ex-employee calling out Frank Turek and Eric Kirk for manipulating scripture is gold. He has more of Charlie's brain than anyone still at TPUSA. So let's listen to Mason.
Guys, PSA of the day. So I thought about this just earlier today after hearing Frank Turek's comments basically saying that the Bible justifies killing Candace Owens because she's accusing someone of a crime that they didn't commit. So I immediately thought of the manipulation of scripture. And I've thought of all the leftists over the years, all the companies promoting the pride stuff, all the companies, even against Turning Point in previous years, all these organizations, all these people. There has never been, to my knowledge, just my opinion, there has never been another company, group of people, because they're just evil people, that has manipulated scripture more than this Turning Point USA under Erica Kirk. I've never seen it. Whether it's Andrew Colvett, Mikey McCoy, Elizabeth McCoy, like they're going back and forth. Like it's the wives of these people, it's the friends of these people. Freaking Brandon Tatum, Graham Allen, even Ben Shapiro, even though he's Jewish, doesn't matter. He still says manipulative things, especially with scripture and stuff. But Blake Neff, even people using Charlie's old clips out of context, like, look, he supported Israel. I was like, that's from 2021. Bro was literally saying he is abandoning the pro-Israel cause 48 hours before he died. So that if you're going to take one quote out of this entire video for all the freaking weirdos that are like, oh my gosh, you're so weird, you're against Turning Point, you're a loser. You guys are all keyboard warriors. So if you're going to take one thing away from this, it is there. In my life, I have never, ever seen a company or group of people manipulate scripture to fit their narrative, to push their narrative more than Turning Point 2.0 under Erica Kirk. Ever. I've never seen it in my life, because obviously there's just evil people that are just against scripture, but I'm talking about specifically using scripture to justify saying certain things, to justify calling death upon certain people, all this stuff. So it's disgusting. It's why I quit. It's just one of the many reasons why I quit. And it's why nobody trusts them. Nobody thinks that Blake Neff and Andrew Colvett sitting on the Charlie Kirk show are actually talking about truthful points. If you go to the YouTube comment section of those videos that get like barely any views, by the way, they get flamed on a daily basis, nonstop. No one is commenting like, oh my gosh, great podcast, guys. Like I really took this away for the day. Like great message. No, it doesn't happen. And if it does, it's just a bot. But I don't know. I don't really know where this video is going. But at the end of the day, it's really deceptive what they do. It's disgusting and deceptive, because scripture is for us to use to search for truth. It is for us to have discernment through lies, and they are using it to push lies. So that's my message for the day. It's disgusting. It's just, after seeing Frank Turek literally say, God says he's going to hunt you down with a sword and kill you if you accuse someone of a crime they didn't commit. Yeah, it's really weird. So that's my message for the day. Read the Bible, pray to God, have a good relationship with God, search for truth, because that's not what these people are doing at all.
And I think most of us agree with him. You know, I feel bad. You can see it. You can feel it. He's beyond pissed. I think we all are. This is gross. And now I'm going to show you what Turning Point thinks of all of us asking questions, because as if we cared what Tyler Boyer thought, this is what he has to say about all of us asking questions, which is pretty honestly hilarious. He has said that the new Trump derangement syndrome is Turning Point derangement syndrome. Same root mental illness. As you can see my comment, these people are insane. I usually don't comment on things very often on X, and I was like, these people are lost. They've lost it. They have lost it. Absolutely lost it. And that is crazy. That is crazy. There's just no way that they actually think that this is Turning Point derangement syndrome. Well, then that's like half the country probably, because I think I don't know one person that looks at this and goes, yeah, this all looks like a lone pure transgender furry situation. Like, no, I don't know anyone that believes that. So yeah, I think it's funny that was his response to the pictures and that, like, everything that's being talked about and going on. That was Tyler Boyer's best response to all this, was we have Turning Point derangement syndrome. Yeah. Okay. Oh, my hubby sent me a super chat. Thank you. I'm doing my best. I really am. I am trying hard. That was sweet. Thank you, babe. I'm doing the best I can. I am on the case. And I'm pretty relentless. I appreciate that. I just happened to look over and saw the super chat. It's like, oh, my husband. Now we're going to look at, oh gosh, this is a good clip. This is a good clip, guys. So do you guys remember? Because there's a lot of new people. And I might get a little fiery here. I always call it fiery. I get a little spicy sometimes when I get onto something that like really irritates me. But Erica Kirk, remember her interview with Glenn Beck? I covered it. And it was so, she's sitting in his office and she's like reading that note, right? She's like reading this note that Charlie had written, and her face changes because she's not on the list, right? And you know, when someone makes a conscious decision, like, oh, I'm going to do this, and it's going to be like really convincing, or it's going to like basically manipulate people to feel bad for me, right? But then as she's reading this, she's realizing, oh, this isn't doing what I thought it would, right? Or, oh, and so she puts it down. And she starts carrying on. And we've heard about this in several interviews where she's like, oh, my husband has so many journals, and my husband had a plan into 2028, and he just journaled and journaled and journaled. You know what I mean? Like the man who had no time for anything, right? No time for anything. Had time to journal. Like, when did he sleep, right? So I said, as a joke a while back, well, I really wasn't joking. I said, I want a handwriting specialist to prove to us that these journals are really written in Charlie Kirk's handwriting, because I don't believe anything this lady says. Just like she's got, you know, footage and interviews. And I said this from the beginning. I said, so did he like what, interview people and just like say, hold on to this in case I die? Like he just had time like that to like do interviews and just hold on to stuff for like content later. And where's all this content that like they had banked up, you know, in case something happened? We've never seen any of it. Actually, they've just removed everything. So if you removed all the old stuff, why would you be showing us old stuff that he did? Yeah, not going to happen. Were you guys just saying that so you could like have time to like AI videos of Charlie saying things? Is that what it is? Like, that's probably what it is, allegedly. So let's listen to Erica Kirk talk about these journals that her husband just spent all his time doing because he had nothing better to do.
On our path of purpose, because so often when you're building something, we, us, me, have a tendency to look back maybe 5 years later, 5 years previous, 2 years previous, pre-children, pre-marriage, whatever you want to look at from a comparison standpoint, and think, wow, what I was building back then was amazing. What I'm building now is nothing. And you start to compare what you're building now as insignificant versus what you were building prior as incredible. And let me tell you, it's the complete opposite when you're fully invested. Because I tell you what, my life looked a lot different when I was building in New York City and I was building in LA. What I'm building with my daughter and my husband and my family is way more fruitful and rewarding than what I was building 5 years ago. And you have to find the purpose in the building.
And don't you find it interesting, like aside from Erica Kirk, like building, I think it's interesting that she's had like 500 damn career changes, like not even trying to be rude, but like the woman was like a real estate agent. Then I think I heard on another podcast, like she has a law degree, which a Juris Master is not like a major law degree. I mean, should I be like, oh, I have like a law degree because I got a paralegal? Like that's, I mean, I can't with her. She's just like, and then she owns a clothing company, and then, you know, she was a model and she was a beauty pageant girl, and she's a jack of all trades and now a CEO, and she's just like, so I just can't. I just can't get over it. I'm like, what is it? How does she end up with all this stuff? Like, I've never seen a person like this. It's crazy. She's definitely a terrible actress. She would get an F if it came to acting. Exactly why she wanted in Hollywood and no one let her in, because the capabilities of acting are zero. Not even a slight possibility that she'd be a good actor. And then let's see. I'm trying to figure out what else I was going to show you guys. Hold on. Oh, this was very interesting too, you guys. Sam Parker shared this. And I'm going to have to go to his page and see if I can find part 1, because let me show you this. This was a good one. So again, Sam Parker, he's shared some really good stuff on X. I love Sam. I may have to get Sam back on the show again for another interview, because like I said, me and him did. It was a good interview that we did, but that was a little while ago, and it was in the beginning, and we were, you know, talking about the Charlie Kirk case and, the LDS church, and we were talking about different things. And it was just a really good interview that we did. But now so much has changed since then, because I interviewed him back, I think, in December. So a lot's changed. I'll have to see if he'll come back on. So this was really interesting. It was about, right here. Special agent, in charge of Salt Lake City, Robert Bowles, was formerly the head of the National Cyber Joint Task Force. Is that not crazy? Again, so many coincidences. What is that? It's the primary agency responsible for coordinating investigations and liaisoning with the FBI, Cybercrime Division, the CIA, the DO. Well, I don't know if I should even say these agencies, man. I'll be having everybody on my YouTube, and I'm already getting, what do you call it? Shadowed, you know what? It has the primary responsibility to coordinate, integrate, and share information across all agencies and levels of investigations. Bowles' own online resume, pictured below, says he's an expert on transnational organized crime. There's your international component, various facets and levels of law enforcement, aka local police, crisis response, surveillance, evidence response teams, special operations, national security. In other words, if you need a guy who can coordinate or manage a comprehensive cover-up between local law enforcement and intel agencies, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone with better skills, experience, and connections to do it. Again, I'm not making any accusations. Do your own research. Again, we're going to say alleged. This is speculation. And this is him. So Robert Bowles, the man who replaced Metab, I think is how you say it. Side is head of the FBI's Salt Lake City field office. So remember, in the beginning, they had fired the head of the Salt Lake office ahead of it. And this is who replaced, I think it was a girl. That's who replaced her. And so it says, as head of the National Cyber Investigative Joint Task Force, transnational organized crime, comprehensive undergoing of various facets of law enforcement, national security. So everything that he just reported is all in this article. So you guys can see for yourselves. Oh my gosh, I did not even show this. Sorry, guys. Wow. I'll show you guys all of it again. So this was the post that Sam Parker put up. Sorry, guys. I told you guys. Post-surgery, might have lost a couple brain cells. I don't know I'm still getting back in the swing of stuff. So again, all this underlined is head of National Cyber Investigative Joint Task Force. Everything that I just said, this is everything in this little article. And then it's showing you, again, National Cyber Investigative Joint Task Force, what that entails since 2008, blah, 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 blah. It's going into all the details through the coordination, collaboration, and sharing that occurs at the NCIJTF. Again, if you guys ever want to come back to the live and pause, again, I was right. It was a girl. I knew it was a girl that he fired. And that was going into before everything with Charlie. Okay. Was pushed out of the role in August despite former agents saying she was absolutely the best in the Bureau. So Kash Patel fired the legendary special agent in charge of Utah FBI's division just a month before she would have led the ongoing manhunt in the CK offing the special agent, blah, 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 blah. We already read through that. Truly a humble servant leader who treats coworkers like family. Former FBI agent Christopher O'Leary, an MSNBC national security contributor who worked with Seed, I guess, told NBC. And she's a legendary case agent who was involved in some of the most significant national security cases of the last 2 decades. He added, she was fired just 6 months after she was appointed in February, with sources telling NBC that the reasons for her sacking were not clear. Associate Deputy Director Jay Williams Rivers, who works for Patel, and Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino reportedly told her that she wasn't a good fit for the office. She was instead offered a lower level job in the FBI field office in Huntsville, Alabama, but she decided to retire rather than take the demotion following a distinguished career. She previously held a number of significant FBI roles, including head of cyber terrorism and counterterrorism in the Los Angeles field office, a section chief of the counterintelligence at the FBI headquarters, and assistant legal in Pakistan during the height of the U.S. war against Al Qaeda. And then this was just another article saying high-ranking FBI job losses disproportionately hurt women and people of color. This is with Kash Patel. An unprecedented campaign by FBI leaders to force senior bureau officials out of their jobs has disproportionately hit women and people of color, according to public records in an unofficial tally by current and former FBI officials. In the most recent example, FBI leaders last week forced the resignation of a decorated female Pakistan-American counterterrorism agent who was appointed in February to run the Salt Lake City field office. One current and two former FBI officials tell MSNBC. The special agent in charge of the Salt Lake City, I cannot pronounce her name, is being forced out just 6 months after being appointed. In February, the reasons are not clear, and it basically just goes over everything we just talked about. Wasn't a good fit for the office, is what they said, and then they offered her a lower role in Huntsville, Alabama. And that's just let's see. Ex-FBI officials sue Kash Patel over claims they were fired for investigating Trump. And that was in September. So I never saw that. I was too busy with the fact that they even fired her. I couldn't believe that. But then again, we learned, and again, here's more. Let's see, Kash Patel orders to get rid of FBI agents in early August 2025. Instructed by the White House to fire any agent who, I didn't see any of this. Patel, I didn't see any of this at the time. I just knew that they fired her. And actually, it's interesting because I went to find an article because I did a live on this a while ago, and it was really hard to find out anything about her. They had removed a lot of stuff off the internet. So again, a lot of this stuff had disappeared. So Kash Patel is useless. I agree. I'm just going to go through the comments. Again, I see super chats. I'll go through those at the end. All right. Now let's see. Because again, I have several things for you guys. I have something about Mikey, but I don't know what to think about some of the stuff I've found on Mikey. I don't know. It brings me back to Mikey. I don't know. I still don't like the behavior of him walking away like that. So I don't know why Candace was kind of walking back, the oh, Mikey came to me with this or that or this or that, it's weird. I will show this just because I think that this is a good one for the fact of a lot of, especially Blake, is trying to make it seem like Candace and Charlie were not friends, especially around, the time of him being killed. So I do want to show you guys this because I thought this was a good one to show. No idea why Blake Neff is dead set on trying to convince the public that Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens somehow became bitter enemies before his killing, when the evidence suggests they were always friends regardless of disagreements. So let's listen to this minute clip.
It. And Candace, I think it's been super unfair the way some people have been treating you, and really unfair. Because look, I know your heart too. I tweeted this yesterday. Candace Owens flew 18 hours through a brutal European connection to go to the embassy opening in Jerusalem, and we toured Israel together. And you and I were on campuses multiple times together defending Israel and defending the Jewish people. So Candace, let me ask you, because not everyone listens to your show, which is excellent. Everyone should subscribe to her show. And I'm afraid that they are diluting and cheapening the term anti-Semitism the same way they've done with racism.
There's no question that they've diluted it. People are not even blinking now to be called an anti-Semite.
I'll give some advice. Candace Owens is undefeated, everybody. So be careful. Fighting Candace Owens doesn't end well for you. Candace, God bless. We have your back, and have that baby. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Charlie. Such a pleasure to always join.
Thank you. I call balls and strikes where I see it.
So Blake Neff his response to this video being posted, because they took it down, obviously, because they took everything down. This is why Aubrey put, Blake, you guys are the ones live streaming from Charlie Kirk's studio every day, sitting next to his empty chair and cashing in on his legacy of his show for your own grift. Maybe take a look in the mirror before accusing anybody else. And he said, personally, I don't think that Charlie's show or legacy should be destroyed because a left-wing zealot murdered him. Erica feels the same way, and the show will continue under his name as long as she wants it to. Maybe you should explain why you were so frantically committed to destroying everything Charlie built on behalf of a woman who hated him. Yeah, I don't agree, but what else is new? Let's see what this is, because I just found this. What's this about? While we're here.
I didn't make a Lenten promise to not laugh at people on the internet, so I'm going to embrace it. Yes, he died, but some deaths are funny. And there's a lot about this death that is funny.
Oh my gosh, no, he didn't.
I didn't make a Lenten promise to not laugh at people on the internet, so I'm going to embrace it. Yes, he died, but some deaths are funny. And there's a lot about this death that is funny. I didn't make a Lenten promise to not laugh at people on the.
Oh my gosh, no way. I have not seen that. I just accidentally ran across that right now, and I cannot believe someone said no, he was talking about another person's death, but it shows the kind of person he is. No death is funny. That's true. I just think the fact that he said that at all is bad. But Blake Neff has a lot. There's a lot of bad clips of Blake Neff, if I'm being honest. And he's an angry little thing. I'm trying to figure out, because again, there was this other one where there was trying to make sure I didn't miss anything I want to share with you guys so far, but I don't think so. No, there was this other one of him and of Charlie and Candace that I wanted to share. But maybe Project Constitution has it, maybe. I'll have to look. Yeah, I can't believe how quiet Andrew and them have been, really. I mean, they are not. Oh, do you guys remember this? Do you guys remember about Erica Kirk's friend that died in the movie theater incident? The movie theater shooting? They were saying, this is interesting. They were saying that so it says, we now know the name of Erica Kirk's best friend who was killed in the Aurora movie theater shooting in 2012, and the details are getting stranger. In a new video from Sarcastic Balkan, she uncovered the name of the alleged best friend of Erica Kirk that was killed in the 2012 Aurora, Colorado movie theater shooting. It was revealed on the official Miss Arizona Twitter account that Erica Kirk, then Erica Fransvey, then controlled the one of the victims killed in the 2012 Aurora, Colorado movie theater shooting was one of her best friends, 24-year-old sports journalist Jessica Gao, also known as Jessica Redfield. What makes this even more unsettling is that just 7 weeks earlier, Jessica had been at another mass shooting in Toronto. Again, I told you guys this is interesting because people are at several different things. Like, how do you have people at all these different things? It's just weird. She reportedly had a strong feeling that something bad was going to happen, left the mall early, and later wrote about it in a blog post. Then weeks later, she was killed in Aurora. This isn't the first time people close to Erica Kirk have ended up deceased and high profile. You know what's her pattern of proximity to these kinds of tragedies keeps raising serious questions, especially when combined with everything else that has come out since CK's offing. Why does everyone around Erica Kirk seem to keep dying in mass shootings? Let's listen to Candace.
People keep dying around Erica Kirk, and they die in public shootings. One example is, of course, on July 20th, a gunman opened fire during a midnight screening of The Dark Knight Rises at a movie theater, killing 12 people and injuring dozens more. One of the victims was 24-year-old Jessica Gowie, who, as I've already mentioned, was Erica Kirk's friend.
You and I received so back in 2012, you guys may or may not recall, but you will now that I say it, there was this mass shooting that happened in a movie theater where a guy, we were told, the public were told, kind of similar to the Charlie Kirk assassination. Some guy walks in tactical gear, but this was like, he was like throwing smoke grenades. I mean, looks in retrospect pretty military. And then they pull out this guy and they're like, hey, this movie was coming out. Here he is, it's this guy. He did the whole thing. Well, at that time when Erica was it was her year as Miss Arizona, somebody just randomly tweeted at her and were like, why haven't you made a statement about this horrific shooting? And Erica replies, and this is what she said. We can show this. And now it says, just so you guys are clear, it says Candace Knavel because she now runs that feed. But this was Erica tweeting this back at that person. What Erica says, one of my best friends was in the theater. So although my acknowledgement hasn't been blasted via social media, it's been more on a personal level. So Erica has a personal attachment via her friend who was in this theater at the time of another shooting.
People keep dying around Erica Kirk, and they die in public shootings. One example is, of course, her husband, Charlie Kirk, and another is Jessica Gowie, who was a 24-year-old aspiring sports journalist. And she also went by the name Jessica Redfield. So in 2012, Erica Franzwey, now known as Erica Kirk, held the title of Miss Arizona USA, as you already know. After she won the Miss Arizona USA title, she had access to the Twitter for the pageant, and that same year, a mass shooting took place in Aurora, Colorado. On July 20th, a gunman opened fire during a midnight screening of The Dark Knight Rises at a movie theater, killing 12 people and injuring dozens more. One of the victims was 24-year-old Jessica Gowie, who, as I've already mentioned, was Erica Kirk's friend. She was a sports journalist. Her and Erica moved in similar media and social circles in Arizona in the early 2010. At the time, Erica was Miss Arizona USA, while Jessica was working towards a career in sports journalism. Their friendship was later confirmed publicly, although there are no detailed records examining how or when they first met. Following the Aurora shooting, Erica publicly shared that she personally knew one of the victims. She revealed this after a fan expressed disappointment that she has not made a statement about the tragedy, at which point she shared that her friend was among those killed. But here is the weird part. 1 month before the Aurora attack, Jessica Gowie had also been present at another shooting incident. On June 2nd, 2012, she was at the Eaton Center shopping mall in Toronto, Canada, when a gunman opened fire inside the food court, killing 2 people and injuring several others. Jessica left the mall shortly before the shooting began. After the incident, she wrote a blog post describing her experience, stating that she felt uneasy while inside the mall and decided to leave. She had like a premonition, I guess. And approximately 7 weeks later, she attended the midnight movie premiere in Aurora, Colorado, where she was among those killed during the theater shooting. The Aurora attack was carried out by a single gunman, later identified as James Holmes. You must admit that this is strange. Her friend had a feeling that something bad was going to happen to her. Why was that? She decided to leave the mall before the gunman opened fire, and she kind of saved herself. And then she was at another event where another public shooting took place and she was killed. I'm not saying that Erica Kirk is responsible for her death, but you have to admit that it's weird that everyone around her keeps dying in a similar manner. Did this girl have a premonition? Or was she targeted because she was Erica's friend? Or did she find out something about Erica and she wanted to eliminate her?
Okay, I just found that to be interesting that they finally found the name, because remember that was interesting that Erica had a friend, again, who's just been at several events, and then that she, died in that shooting. I just always thought it was very interesting. Yeah, if there's anything, because I've seen a couple comments, if you don't like what we're talking about, you don't have to listen to it. There's other lives to be in. I can't please everybody, so don't know what to tell you. Yeah, what did Jessica know is a question. I can only imagine. So this is important to pull up because Turning Point USA, Andrew Wilson has done some speaking engagements for them. I think he's doing debates for them, I think is what it is. But anyway, so he's now working on Turning Point's behalf. So it says TPUSA exposed Andrew Wilson just admitted two very revealing things. First, they know they are wildly unpopular and that their speakers are going to get destroyed in college debates. Second, they're openly feeding them scripted talking points to repeat. This confirms what many of us have suspected. This new batch of copy and paste influencers aren't speaking from their own convictions. They're just repeating whatever propaganda Turning Point tells them to push. It's honestly pathetic. Everything they're doing now directly goes against the principles of Charlie Kirk and what he actually stood for. He built Turning Point on the idea of teaching young people how to think for themselves and defend their beliefs through open debate, not handing them scripted lines and sending them out to parrot their talking points to brainwash the youth. This isn't the organization Charlie founded. It's something else entirely. We'll listen to this. And then there's something interesting about him that I want to go over.
Well, TPUSA hired me to go down and train its new crop of debaters. So that's what I did. Went over to their Capitol compound in Arizona, and I started training their debaters. Now, you see, I was not very thrilled. Not very thrilled. The course trajectory of how these campus debates might go without them having the correct talking points and knowing how to do the correct debates. Hey, where'd you go for a week? Well,
yeah, I think debate is just debate. I don't really think you have to have talking points for debate. Though Charlie used to let people pick what they wanted, what the question was they wanted to ask. They went up there, they asked it, and then they went from there. So it wasn't this very scripted, premeditated conversation at all whatsoever. We're going to pull this up because this is what I want to talk about with him as well. So it says, warning, do not engage with Andrew Wilson. Word is he was brought to Turning Point USA headquarters this weekend for one reason, to act as their new attack dog. The goal is to bait people into saying something legally reckless so they can run to court and try to shut everyone up. This isn't debate. It's legal entrapment cosplay. The man has no real skin in the game and zero upside for anyone actually doing the work. He's just the latest useful idiot, is what Project Constitution is saying. They're rolling out to do their dirty laundry while they hide behind him. The people who actually need to be on record are Tyler Boyer, Andrew Colvett, and Blake Neff. You three have spent the last 10 months hiding behind other people, attacking everyone, asking questions, and refusing to address the serious issues surrounding Charlie Kirk's killing and what's happened to Turning Point since. If you're so confident in the official story and your leadership, then step up and debate. Stop sending proxies. Stop playing legal games. Come defend yourselves directly, or keep hiding. Either way, people are watching. And anyway, as far as Andrew Wilson, he's a nobody. Save your time in your legal exposure. Some people aren't here to argue in good faith. They're here to build a lawsuit. Don't hand them the material. Move accordingly. And this is, I guess they're having a debate, and that was going to be today. It's today. So he was just kind of warning everybody to be advised. And this is something that several people are sharing on X right now. If people are going to these things, to be careful of what you're saying. And I believe this. I believe that they are waiting for people to say things a certain way to where they can do that. And I will tell you that, people who are questioning this narrative and people who are, again, I mean, small channels are paying the price for the things that they talk about. What they do is they don't like what you're talking about, so they punish you by not pushing your content. And so it's a sacrifice to keep talking about certain topics. I will say that. It's not good for if you're trying to grow fast. It's not the way to go, really. It's a quick way to get yourself in trouble is what it is. And so, yeah, for smaller channels, we're really like I'm feeling it. When I first started, it was a little bit different. It's gotten to be very tough. But so yeah. Yeah, Blake is interesting. And here's the other thing. Oh wait, hang on. He debated Zach Costello. Andrew Wilson wants to be a part of the big club so badly he ignores all the problems with the Fed stuff. So I actually wasn't super familiar with him, and I did not know he debated Zach. I know who Zach is. So yeah, I mean, but I do believe in baiting people, and I think that at this point, I think they're pretty desperate to try to find a way to be able to quiet the public, quiet the chatter, and they'll do whatever they can to get that. Again, I come back to if someone accused me of having something to do with my friend's murder, and said, oh, well, on the phone you called so and so, or we think you were FaceTiming so and so, I would have immediately brought phone records out and been like, boom, here. Are you happy now? Move along. I think if you don't have something to do with something, why would you be offended about it? Just show the proof and move along. The fact that they can't outright just come out and openly defend themselves is really crazy to me. I've never seen anything like it, if I'm being honest. I'm going to check Andrew Colvette's X while we're on here, because I'm just curious if he's posted anything, because I really haven't seen anything major about him talking about what Candace showed. This is crazy. Normally they go right on the defense, but I will tell you, maybe they're not, because again, I think they're having Paramount Tactical and all these other people that Lisa knows that I covered that debated Dee Got a Podcast. She is all over X defending Turning Point. Like it's wild. I mean, she is doing overtime. She was the video, the Zoom that Erica did where she was super smiley talking about merch sales. She was saying that she smiled for a second because of the smiling emojis. Like, you guys let me show you. Just because, even through the bad, we do have to laugh at some of the goofiness of stuff. Again, I know she's like a really hard watch. Like, I want to gouge my eyes and my ears out when I have to look at her stuff. But here she goes. The baby buff spin. The candy cult will go out of their way to make the most innocent of interactions seem nefarious, especially if it can shape the narrative to make Erica Kirk look like a liar. Oh, she's now on Zach's butt. So now she's talking about Zach. She's gone after a little bit of, it's this video that made her mad. Let's listen to her, because she's
say another ridiculous candy cult debunk, and today's featured candy
this is her
cult
debunk, guys. Her
Zach
debunk.
Costello. Let's go.
Baby Buff is the star of today's show.
Before all of this, I used to take the kids to the office pretty much daily. Sometimes because like Gigi would have dance class and stuff like that every other day, whatever, but I would bring them in because I wanted them to see Daddy doing his radio show.
Before all of this, Erica says, I would take the kids into the office almost daily, except for the occasional Gigi.
Guys, do not want to watch it. I know she's a hard watch. She literally, I lose brain cells watching her, but at the same time, I mean, she actually believes that she is hardcore defending something, and I've never seen anything like it. I mean, she has no facts when she hardcore debates something. It's like, no, you misunderstood. And like, you're only seeing 2 seconds of a clip. It's like, I don't care if I'm seeing 2 seconds. If my husband was just killed 5 days ago, or 7 days ago, I wouldn't be smiling, not even for 2 seconds. It would take a lot more than a damn emoji. I'm not even sure a brand new puppy would have made me smile. Okay. And that says a lot, because I love dogs. Her way of defending Erica, like I said, I mean, there's just like, to me, I'm not going to sit here and fight someone else's battles on the internet for them like this. And then she's like, oh yeah, I'm not like affiliated with them. I'm not like this or that. She's In what world? But if you guys don't want to watch it, just let me know in the chat and we'll skip it and we'll go on to something else. Or I'll start going through super chats actually for a second because my husband says I need to start doing them as they come in rather than saving them for the end. So maybe we'll take a break from this and then we will jump back into a few things. If you guys want to talk about certain things, you can let me know in the chat. All right, so we'll just go over the super chats really quick for a minute. So we have Ashley, thank you so much for becoming a member. I hope you enjoy the channel. There's several different memberships for those of you that don't know. I know the $5 one, you get shorts, and like my shorts are kind of longer. I kind of spoil with the shorts. I don't do like 1 or 2 minute shorts. I usually do like 7-minute shorts for the $5 memberships. And then the higher membership than that, you get the longer content. So like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour of additional content on different things. A lot of true crime stuff, a lot of cold cases that I just want to go over and bring awareness to. And then the top one that we don't have any members for yet, but that'll grow. That'll be where we have the members only lives 2 times a month, which will be exciting once we have enough people to do those. But all in due time. So that's just a way to support the channel if you want to and you're able to. If not, like I said, just liking and sharing the videos. There's a merch line. We have merch. That's the link in bio. Again, a lot of people don't send super chats because they don't like that YouTube takes some of the money. So they Cash App or Venmo. That's why the ticker's on the bottom. But again, I just appreciate people liking the videos and being a part of the community. Thank you so much, Cherokee. Brave, you gifted a membership. Whoever got that membership, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you like it. Let's see. Ginger, thank you so much for the $2 super sticker. Augustine, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy being a member on the channel. And this was my husband. Thank you. I appreciate you. And then let's see. Martin Reed, when they deleted CK's YouTube and podcast, they showed consciousness of guilt. If they had nothing to do with it, they would be celebrating his work, spreading his message, and spotlighting his oratory skills. Yeah, I agree. I think it's so sick that they did that. And they started early on. Like I said, I covered that in the very beginning. I noticed right away that they had gotten rid of the campus tours. That's how it started. They got rid of like the 2 years. So from the day Charlie died forward, we had, and then 2 years back. But so it was like that 2 years of campus tours they deleted right away. And then probably maybe a couple months ago, I noticed that they got rid of all of them. And so now if you go on the Charlie Kirk show, you just have like Blake Neff and Andrew Colvette's clips. They don't even have their lives up there anymore. I mean, they have really, they've changed things. And you have to ask yourself why. And again, my mind goes back to when Erica was telling us, hey, we have, all this footage of Charlie. We have all of these different, this content that like he created that he made sure that we had so that, we could, go into the future. And, that's like totally normal for, a 30-something-year-old person to do. It's just not. It's really, really crazy. It's really, really crazy. Sweet swine of mine. Keep going, Nicole. I appreciate the work you do. I especially like the way you bring the Twitter info because I kind of hate going over there. 100% see it. Yep. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I tell you guys all the time, like if I didn't have to have X to like look for information, just because along with me researching and double checking things, it's always nice to go over there and, help spread the word of other people's research. There's a lot of people doing hard work on this case and, it takes a collective to research. It's not easy. I'm, a one-man show, so I can only, do so much in a day. And so if I'm not on a live, I'm pre-recording videos for the week. And then when I'm not recording, you're creating thumbnails or you're researching, and it's a lot of work. I love it, but it is a lot of work. And I'm not the most techie person. So it's funny for me to be doing techie things. I had someone the other day say, your video has no volume. And I said, no, it does. I said, I think it might be on your end. And they're like, oh, my apologies. My volume was all the way down. And I said, it's okay. Technical difficulty. It's okay. broken on my end, and they realized, oh, my volume was down or what have you. So it was just funny. You know, tech issues happen. It's okay. Technology is not perfect. So those are the super chats for now. And then again, thank you guys. I've seen cash apps come in. I appreciate all those. And then we'll come back to the super chats here in a little bit if more comes in. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to go over today other than, so we went over that stuff. This is something Lionel posted, but I don't know what that was. That wasn't anything. There was something else that I'm missing, and it was Candace and Erica. I thought I saved it, but I guess not. But I may have to go over that because we may be doing more lives, especially since Candace is gone. Oh my goodness. This is one that I was going to share with you guys, but I was like, oh, I don't like Graham Allen. You guys already know that. If you've been following me for a while, he is like nails on a chalkboard. And he's such a crybaby dude. I swear. You know, I just can't stand him. I don't know what else to say. But it was saying bombshell Graham Allen just admitted he was hired by the Pentagon as their senior strategic consultant for digital media. In a recent clip, Graham Allen confirmed that before returning to his show, he worked at the Pentagon as the senior strategic consultant for digital media, communications, press, and rapid response. This wasn't a minor role. His job was to help shape narratives, control messaging, and strategically respond to media coverage on behalf of the Department of Defense. This is important because it puts him in the exact lane of what Real Candace Owens exposed months ago, the leaked White House email that referred to Erica Kirk as an emotional asset and directed people to make sure her clip from the White House Correspondents' Dinner went viral overnight. If the Pentagon had someone whose literal job was to manage digital media narratives and rapid response, it raises a very serious question. Was Graham Allen involved in or aware of the coordinated effort to push Erica Kirk as the face of Charlie Kirk's assassination? We already know the Department of Defense was actively involved in messaging around Erica Kirk after Charlie's death. Now we have confirmation that one of their top digital media people was a well-known conservative podcaster who has publicly defended Turning Point USA and attacking people, asking questions. This needs to be looked into. I think it's time we start filing FOIA requests for any communications involving Graham Allen during this time with the Pentagon, especially anything related to Erica Kirk, Turning Point USA, or messaging around Charlie Kirk's assassination. So I'm going to let this play.
Yes,
and then
my official.
I'm going to look in the background because Project left this out. I don't know if he knows this, but he is actually an ambassador for Turning Point. Like, he is actually on their website, and he is affiliated with Turning Point. So he is on their payroll, I'm sure.
Title was actually senior strategic consultant to the Department of War, but whatever. Who cares?
Whatever.
But before that, everybody knows this. I left the show for 6-7 months to go into the administration.
Completely abandoned me.
The Pentagon. All right. But what she leaves out is the important context of what my senior strategic consulting to the Department of War, the secretary, actually is. You see, she just says the title. She left out for digital media. You see, my role at the Pentagon was senior strategic consultant for digital media, for comms, for press, for rapid response. That is my role.
Not sand tabling and war planning.
She makes it seem as though I'm in the rooms where, we're deciding, are we going to bomb Iran again or not? No, my side is, hey, so-and-so from the media is talking a bunch of crap and nonsense. How are we going to strategically calm out how we go about this and how we communicate with?
How tough are you really when you have to have like this little loser over here being like, yeah, Graham, go Graham, get him, Graham. Like, just get him a set of pom-poms, Graham. Woo, Graham Allen. I love Graham Allen. We bone each other every night, and I don't even like to talk like that, but that has to be what's going on because I don't know another man that's like sitting next to another man just like clapping for him and like, you're the smartest, you're the best, Graham. Yes, Graham. Yes, Graham. Like, what is going on? Like, it is the weirdest co-host situation. It's like he needs this this dude over here to like what? Make him feel like what he's saying is valid? Help us.
The American people.
Oy, oy.
Now, I'm very proud of that work, and it's a very important part.
Mhm.
But that's also a very key piece of information to leave out when you make a statement like, the Department of War murdered Charlie Kirk. Do you know what Graham Allen was doing before Charlie Kirk was
No,
murdered?
because we don't care.
Senior strategic consultant for the Department of War. And then she leaves it to the audience. You tell me what that means.
See what I'm saying? Like, did he think that that was going to not look shady? Like, see what I'm saying? These people act so on emotions that they don't even have the brain cells to realize, like, hey, that's not going to look right. Like, when people are accusing people of being involved in a cover up, or people are involved of, you know, helping in a situation that isn't looking good, like, that's probably not what you should have been screaming at the top of your lungs. But because he's so mad again about Candace Owens, he's so mad and emotional, he's not thinking straight, and then he's doing stupid stuff like that. But I'm going to show you guys, this is what I want to show you, because a lot of people I don't even think realize this. This is Turning Point USA's website. Okay, if you go to media, he is an ambassador, almost like, well, ambassador influencer is what they call them. So any of these people are listed on media, again, under contributors. Do you think that anybody right here, that anything they say is going to be not what Turning Point told them to say? Do you think these people are honest? Do you think these people, you get what I'm saying? Graham Allen is at the bottom. Anybody on this page right now, anything that comes out of their mouth, take it and throw it in the trash. For you know, for him to say, I don't work for Turning Point USA, well, what? Okay, what? They don't what? Write you a check? But you're an ambassador or an influencer, which means you get some kind of compensation, dummy. You know what I mean? What? And then on top of it, now you've made the connection. We all knew that I knew he had that position. And then he was trying through COVID to run for governor, and he wasted all this money and then didn't run for governor because he knew he was going to lose. And so now you make this connection, and there's all these other connections. Does he really think that that looks okay? Did you guys ever know this? Did you guys ever see this? I don't know if you guys ever knew this or seen this. I don't think a lot of people have. I knew that, you know, and he talks about Candace being associated with PragerU. Well, so is he. So, and I'm going to use the word allegedly because, again, these people are relentless. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying. Yeah. It's just crazy. It is crazy. You know, again, all these people on this page, I mean, is it shocking when you hear Jack Posobiec or Benny Johnson say certain things? No, it's not. I mean, what did you think? And again, they're like, oh, well, I'm not like their staff. Well, yeah, you're not maybe an event coordinator, but what do you call that? When you're an ambassador and you're an influencer and you are affiliated with a brand, you do get paid. You get compensated somehow. So, okay, maybe you don't have a W-2 with Turning Point, but there's something else, whatever that is. So I just figured I would show you guys that. Maybe we'll just end on that note. But again, you know, lots of interesting things going on. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Okay, this is going to be the last thing we end on because I can't believe I just stumbled across this. So you've seen that. This is going to be the last thing. Then we're going to hop off here. We've been on here for quite some time, and I appreciate all you guys being here with me. I know it's been long. It's been a couple hours, but this is going to be the last thing we're going to talk about. So Project Constitution had posted this, and it says, this is Miss Erica Kirk's Turning Point 2.0, copy paste, whatever, young, dumb, and pretty influencer girl here that's willing to parrot their talking points and defend the widow. Well, what happened to Lisa Knows? Because she's certainly not pretty. That's what I always say. I'm like, if you want people to at least believe things, I mean, use somebody pretty then and who's intelligent. That would be the first start if you wanted to be believable. I swear to God, guys, this is real and not an AI. It's not AI generated. They literally are just trying to create a robot army of brainwashed young girls to psyop our youth. Yeah. Why? You know, why do they want to ask yourself, why do they want to put politics in grade schools? Oh, here I am doing it again, you guys. I know. Sorry. But anyway, so this was his post. This is how we know it's time for me to go take a nap. So this is what it looks like. So pick up the mic. Is this for real? So this is their new little marketing thing for like what? Take over for Charlie? Let's see. Yeah. So I don't know. I just can't. I'm like, what is actually going on? You're a little behind. It's okay. I always post the replay, so don't worry, guys, because I'll always post it so people who weren't here for the whole live can watch. I've always kept the lives up so that people can go back and watch. Unfortunately, I know my lives get kind of long, but I use them to, when there's so much to go over, it's better to do it live sometimes than create 500 videos. And it's just good to like be able to talk about things in the comments and so on and so forth. So it's just like good to go live and go over all these things. Let's see. So I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Let's hear this person speak. There is no video. So that was just him talking about, you know, the fact that they're using that as like their tagline for people. Oh, this is apparently Andrew Wilson debating. But I don't know if we should listen to that or not.
Points. Well, I'll try to rephrase this.
So this is the guy that
and I'm
Turning Point has now doing things for them, I guess. This is Andrew Wilson.
just going to be totally honest with you. I will never be able to convince you of my worldview.
You won't.
I know. But the reason is not because I'm not a great orator or I don't make good points or I haven't said things which should be compelling to a person. But Charlie, I just think honestly, you're too fucking stupid to understand them.
So Andrew, can I sell you on my worldview?
Yes.
Your wife has 3 baby daddies and has been married twice before.
And you
you
lick sniz.
Under your religion.
You lick sniz.
What is that?
You're a fucking dyke. Don't talk shit about my wife, you stupid bitch. Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your stupid bitch mouth.
Your wife with the 3 baby
What did I
daddies?
just say? Dyke?
Your wife with the 3 baby
I'm sorry,
daddies?
dyke. Is she morally inconsequential in comparison to your ditch licking?
Do the men that you try to
Do the women that you try
show
to
your hatred against?
Do the women
they,
that you try
convince them
to
that they shouldn't?
You know,
like,
Charlie, did I
pursue
bring
women? Do they know
Charlie,
that
did
your
I bring
wife
your
is 5
family?
years older?
Did I bring any of your
You
family
called me
into
fucking
anything?
stupid.
Did I
You
say
called
anything
me
about
fucking
your
stupid.
family being stupid, Charlie?
could.
It's
You could
because
go
I'm
for it.
better than you, Charlie.
No, it's because you're embarrassed and you know that the traditional values that
Mhm.
you try to sell people on
Okay.
are bullshit because
Let's
you
go
are not
through
a
it.
traditional man.
Chuck, let's go through it.
You are not a traditional
Let's
man.
go through it, Chuck. Tell me what I'm doing which is immoral.
Well, that was interesting. Yeah, I don't think anyone can debate like Charlie. I think every time they do a campus tour, especially what we saw after Charlie passing. Oh, here's another one. Exposed Turning Point USA is desperately trying to replace Charlie Kirk, and it's not going to work. Turning Point USA is getting ready to announce their new Pick Up the Mic tour. And word from insiders is that they're now training people in mock debate tents because of the pressure we've been putting on them. They've let's see, they've even been mentioning us by name in their meetings. Yesterday, they flew out a bunch of influencers to promote it, clearly hoping paid promotion will fix their image. At the center of this new push is an 18-year-old named Noah Coffin. He was the president of one of their largest America chapters. And they're clearly grooming him to be the next face of the organization. He's already doing tour stops, debating students, and posting videos telling people not to criticize Erica Kirk. He was even at Turning Point USA headquarters and on the Charlie Kirk show set yesterday. The problem, he's extremely PR trained and his engagement looks heavily botted. One of his recent videos has over 1 million views, but only 5K likes. That's not organic growth. This is what desperate rebranding looks like. Turning Point still doesn't understand that Charlie Kirk was Turning Point. You can't just slot in a new polished 18-year-old and expect people to forget everything that's happened. No amount of billionaire backing, paid influencers, or fresh faces is going to restore trust that's already been destroyed. They're living in a fantasy land if they think they can rebuild their reputation by trying to manufacture the next Charlie Kirk. People are done with the lies, the gaslighting, and the controlled opposition. This is just the next chapter in their slow motion collapse. And Project always puts in his posts, if you value our work and want to help us financially, your support helps us stay independent, keep the lights on. And that is so true for small channels that are doing the work. That really, it's really true. So it's very difficult. So Candace Owens is someone put Noah Coffin put this, the new guy. Candace Owens is a traitor. Charlie Kirk's schmurder was turned in by his parents. Ask yourself why. Oh, he was turned in by his parents. Sorry. Ask yourself why. I've met Erica and lots of the Turning Point staff. They love Jesus, love Charlie, and love America. May God be with the Kirk family tonight. And then this is him in the tent. Obviously, they rebranded. Humbled to be joining Turning Point USA's Pick Up the Mic tour this fall. I'll be debating students on college campuses across America, bringing civil dialogue, free speech, and some well-deserved truth bombs to the left's home turf, defending conservative values while cooking libs along the way. It's going to be legendary. Yeah, I bet it is. Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought this was so funny. This is one of the workers for Turning Point. Spent the weekend with Erica Kirk and Turning Point USA family at HQ. Anyone hating on these patriots is truly vile and isn't worth your time and was never a true friend to Charlie anyway. Oh, really? Oh, really? Whatever. And then this is apparently their little setup for the new guy. There's Blakey Neffy. So, isn't that interesting? So, I think that's about it for today. Like I said, I'll continue to look through things. I'll continue to put stuff together. That way we can go over things on another live. There's just a lot out there still. There's things that I want to look into more as well before I present on things, and so on and so forth. But today I wanted to kind of go over those things. I thought the rental car stuff was important to go over, and I want to look into some more of that stuff. The connections with George Zinn, that was interesting. Again, it goes into Jack Hibbs and Butch Hibbs. There's interesting connections there as well that go a little further than people thought, that I'm kind of trying to dig through a little bit. So, I thought the new guy was already fired. Not to my knowledge. I didn't know that. Yeah, whoever bought someone a membership or bought people memberships in the chat, thank you for doing that. I hope people enjoy the membership. Again, there's different tiers for extra content, and again, link in bio for merch. And yeah. Andrew Wilson's wife talked to them about how horrible the women's summit was. I can't even imagine. It was bad. I mean, you had people standing up and calling Erica Kirk a PDF protector. I mean, talk about embarrassing. Nate Brooksby. I don't think he has. I don't know. Rental stuff was very important. Yes, that was very important information. We'll see what else comes out with that. GMC. It was a Yukon. Let's see. Let's see. Andrew Wilson was utterly destroyed by. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Like I said, it's a lot. It's a lot. We'd be here all day if we went through all of it. But I do appreciate you guys being here with me. We read the super chats and stuff, so I don't think there's any more in there. I'm just making sure I didn't miss any before we hop off. I don't think I missed any. All right. Yeah, I don't think I missed anything. Okay. All right. So I went through all the super chats and stuff. Thank you again to those who sent Venmos and Cash Apps. A lot of the names in these don't match, obviously, the names on here. So I'm not going to go through those. I usually don't. I just thank you for those. I appreciate that. Again, I appreciate everyone that sits in these lives. I appreciate everybody on the channel. I appreciate everybody that supports the channel. I know we're in a time where it's very tough to do that. So I appreciate everything. I'm going to hop off here. I'm going to eat some dinner. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. I will let you guys know when the next live is going to be. Probably not tomorrow. I have a doctor's appointment, so maybe Thursday, just depending on what comes out. In the meantime, maybe the next live too, we'll do a couple different topics. Like we'll do some Charlie Kirk stuff and we'll go over some Carmelo Anthony stuff. There's a lot that's been going on with the Carmelo Anthony case. Like I said, he has a legal team now that is pretty big. There's like 6 different attorneys that offered to represent him should his appeal get approved. I don't think that's going to be the case because I don't think there was any issues with the process. I would find it hard to believe that they're going to get that, but you never know. And yeah, there's stuff I'm looking into. So we'll be going over probably some of that with the Charlie Kirk stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I want to look into before I just report on it. And there's some things that, I'm looking into in the background that might be involved in this somehow. I'm just trying to figure out if it's plausible. So, again, I appreciate you guys. I hope everyone has a good rest of your Tuesday. And I'll see you guys all hopefully in a couple days. And again, I'll be posting videos. So today I went live. I don't know that I will do typically if I do a live that day, you're not going to get several videos in the day. So I did a video this morning. We did a live. So tomorrow you should have 2 videos tomorrow. I'm going to try to record a couple of videos for tomorrow on some other stuff. So always trying to keep up with creating content. And through healing here, it's just hard to I used to spend like a whole day filming and I really can't do that anymore. It's like I have to be very up and down and give the body rest, and it needs more rest than I kind of would like to do. I'm kind of going stir crazy, but that's okay. So, all right, guys, I will see you guys all probably Thursday. Have a good rest of your Tuesday.